Hello everyone and welcome to this Falco tutorial. Falco stands for Flying Agent Live Command Operator. I choose the name because I wanted to feel like more than just a flying AI, more like a tactical companion or operator you can command live in your scene. Before we jump in, I just want to say a huge thank you for all the support and donations so far. You guys are so awesome, thank you very much. Version 09 has taken a massive amount of time, testing, fixes and late nights to get to this point, and I really believe you will not regret trying it out. This version is completely free, it is packed with tons of features. This version is still part of the journey, but a lot of serious work has gone into making Falco feel more complete, useful and fun to work with. The next big step will be version 1.0, which I plan to release on the Unity Asset Store with full support and future updates of course. So again, thank you for supporting the project. It honestly means a lot. Now let's get into it. Once you downloaded the package, go up to the asset, import package, custom package, found your version, double click on it and just make sure that everything is selected as normally and just hit the import button. And that's it. Now it's installed. You will find it up in the menu bar, go to tools and then Flying Agent, where you have the version and setup wizard. So click on the setup wizard and then what I do is just dock it up here. Then it's ready for me here. First of all, I'm using Malbers demo scene here to showcase it. Last time we used Invector and FPS. Please see that tutorial if you haven't seen. On that one we went through the basics. For this one I'm gonna show you the many new features, but also go through some of the same setup steps so you can see it from the beginning, because this is a massive update. I'll leave a link in the description. Again, a very important notice here is that you need to have your own animations. Very, very important. This is much animation driven when we talk about the Flying Agent, but otherwise your ground behavior needs to be from your own package. So in this case, this asset has been built around using Emerald AI, Blaze AI and Malbers. And for the shooter assets we have used Invector and we also used FPS Engine, and now we added support for Malbers as well. So in this time we are showcasing on Malbers demo scene here. So we have Steve here, and I'm going to show you with two different enemy AIs. It's important, no matter which ground AI you're using, so Blaze AI or Emerald or even Malbers, you have to set it up so it can already detect the player. So if we add in the Malbers, there's really not much to it there. Malbers is already set up per default so it can detect them. So this is Unka, the dragon. And by the way, I'm using Malbers Unka dragon because it's it's packed with many animations already, and Malbers just create awesome model and animations from the get-go. It's a no-brainer to use his assets. That was the Malbers. It all detects me if I go into an Emerald. So in this case, again, the model itself is from Malbers, but the animations here are set up with the Emerald AI, as you can see out here. Now, in order for it to detect the player, it's important that on your player, you have to set up these Emerald General Target Bridge, which is all described in the wiki documentation from Emerald. Without this, it cannot detect player. So if we play, it should already detect me. Yep. And it comes near me. That means we're also detectable by Emerald AI. So this is just the ground AI behavior. Now what we want to set up for this AI is the flight behavior. I have the Malbers on my left side, the green dragon, and the purple dragon will be the Emerald AI. So right now they both detects me as an enemy for them, and the player here, Steve, I have set him up as with a tag player, but still kept his layer at animal. What's important here, why I'm going to showcase these both steps here, is everything will be very easy configurable from the Flying Agent setup wizard configuration, but because the Malbers animator, if you go into the Malbers, it doesn't use the base layer naming convention. It uses states. If you go to Emerald AI, it uses the base layer. So there's two different steps here we need to look at. And by the way, guys, before we continue, just want to make sure that inside this asset folder here, Flying Agent Asset, you have documentation. I highly recommend you to go in through these different README files, because there's a ton of features in here. It's packed with helpful features for you. Everything from prefabs, UI, icons, help us to damage different AIs, and all the different values, parameters, how to set them up. It's all of this is described here. So please remember to go in and look into this. It will help you a lot. I will try to cover just some of the basic stuff here because it's packed, this asset. We have the states for the Malbers, and we have the base layer, the animator states here. So what we're gonna do is go into the FlyingAgent setup here, and it has different modules here and different helpers. Your validation button is gonna help you almost for every option. There's a validate, and these validate will help you a lot to see what you are missing in the scene. But it's not a magic button, so of course it might be missing something, but to this current version it's still good. In the first step, what you do, we want to create an enemy here. So in the setup profile, you have 3 different profiles: enemy, FlyAgent only, or companion. Right now we want an enemy. That means it's gonna set up some specific steps to ensure that targeting the player as its enemy. The same goes if it's a FlyAgent only. If you don't have any ground behavior, for example, you have a spaceship, a drone, which doesn't need to land and have a ground behavior movement, then you choose a FlyAgent only. Or if you want a companion, then you choose this one. It's gonna set up specific things so it uses the player as its friend and target its enemy, but only while it's airborne. Remember, it's your own ground behavior that needs to also ensure that you set it up for companion. So for example, with Blaze, it has a companion mode. The same with Emerald AI. In the following mode, you just set it to follow the player, then it will automatically set up to not attack the player. So in this case, we want an enemy. While you have this, you can either drag it in and just use current selection as flying route. And if we click on set up FlyingAgent, it's gonna add some components in it, and here it is. So it added these couple of components: FlyingAgent controller, which is the main source of this asset, and you have the ground takeoff. This ground takeoff determines when it doesn't detect either the enemy or the player. Then after a specific amount of time, it will then take off to the air again. Regardless, it will take over ground behavior and then take off. FlyAgent health. This FlyAgent health is highly connected to the ground AI's health. So whatever you set in the ground, whatever you set on your ground health AI's health will be also updated in the FlyAgent health. But it also has some other things here. It has air reaction, so it can trigger some reactions when you shoot at it. You can add some prefabs for blood, sound effect, and much more. The detection visual here. This one can, depending on which profile you set it up to, it can set up and fire off a beacon and an icon when it detects an enemy or a player. Again, described in the documentation. And then the separation controller. So this is just to ensure if you have more enemies, more than one flying AI, that ensures to keep some distance and not to bump into each other, more like avoidance systems. So this is an emerald we set up right now, and it's set up as an enemy. So if you click on the validate FlyingAgent, you can go down and see ground air behavior is not assigned on the FlyingAgent ground takeoff monitor. So if we go into the FlyingAgent ground takeoff monitor, we can take emerald system. So we have set that one up right now. If we go down to the integration now, and because this is an Emerald AI, let's go and install Emerald integration. When you do that, then inside the integration, it's gonna install this install folder. And since we also have Malbers in there, you can say install Malbers integration, then open up the AI target setup. And for the Emerald, we use this correction, then auto set up Emerald FlyAgent sync, and it's gonna add up the FlyAgent health bridge. So it's synced up to your health. The last thing we need to do is go into the animator utilities. We're using the generic one because it's a base layer. So we're going to use this one. If it was a Malbers, we will use auto set up Malbers animator template. So click on this, auto find animator. In this case, it finds Onka controller. If we say auto set up here, look at the animator window. It's going to add these animation states for you. And this is where you go in and put in your animations. Again, I'm using Malbers. It comes with tons of animations already. So I'm just going to use them in there. So if you click them one at a time, landing, you just put in the animation into the motion fields. So I'm gonna go to Malbers animation on the dragon, and then under fly in place, I have these different. So land, I'm gonna put in there. So for the pre-takeoff and takeoff, I'm just gonna use one called stand, this one, and the same here. Now we have all these set, and you can see the transition settings. He has unchecked the exit time, and on this one is checked. All these transition and settings are already pre-made for you. The only thing you need to do on all of the animator windows, whether it's a base layer or it's the states from the Emerald, every time you set up these, then you're just gonna make a transition line back to the movement. So make transition and go into this yellow movement for the Emerald. So after it's done with the landing, it's going to transition into the ground behaviors. So in this case, Emerald AI's movement. Go back to your Emerald AI. It has these set up on my environment on the scene. The environment layer is ground. So if we go into the Emerald main controller, the agent controller, this is where you'll do all the heavy lifting, where you have tons of different options. You can tweak here to your own liking. But if we take the air diff, right now air diff ground layer, it should not be everything. It should be ground. So that's the first thing I said here. Then make sure also for the airborne obstacles, I have made some obstacles and I call them obstacles. So I'll put them on the airborne obstacles, and same thing on the descent. I also put that as obstacles. And it comes with 3 different modes to begin with. You have either circle, patrol, or random. These were also explained in the first tutorial. This circle is depending on a system it made. So when you click the setup for the first time, it also creates this game object called FlyingAgent system. And this is located on center of your screen, so right here. So it's gonna build its circle formation around this transform point here. I have named all the gizmos for you, but it says circle radius here. So in this case, if we have the circle here, then you use circle flight. If you use patrol, then you have a patrol flight here, and the random, you use this random flight to tweak your settings. Now it's a circle right now. Twirl down the circle flight and then use the circle radius to expand. And you can also tweak the settings here. I'll set circle speed to 10. Fly height, how high it should be, maybe over here. And it's perfectly normal that you can also just check the whole fly system and just move it like this. And then highlight your AI again. So now you have it like this. Then you have the standard values exposed, such as the rotation speed, lerp speed, and such. For now, if we just disable the Malbers and concentrate on the Emerald, maybe move him a little bit over here, like this, just so he doesn't detect the player right away. And while you have the Emerald selected here, you can see under his control, this target detection. This is the one that's the profile setup will set up for you. So right now we set that to enemy profile. That means it's an enemy to the player. So the detection target preset will be player. Detection tag match will only see tag only. And then the layers and tag you can set up here. If you need more tags or more other players or companions to target at, then you could make some additional detection profiles down here. So if we just move this over here and hit the play, you can see it's gonna go in and find its circle path. There it's flying. I love Malbers animations. He's really good. Okay, so it's just circling around. Let's make him detect the player. So if we move this a little bit here and look at the overall, the player should be approximately in proximity. Yes. If we play again. So what should happen now is that because we have not set up attack mode, it should just detect the player and then it should fly down. So let's play now. What should happen is when it detects the player and then it should perform the landing sequence, land, and the Emerald AI ground behavior should take over. Let's see. If it finds me, it should also activate a beacon, an icon. There it is. So beacon, that it found me, it lands, and then you can see it attacks me. So now it's purely Emerald AI. So if I pause here and let's say that we take Steve and just move him. While he's moved away, if we go to the Emerald, now look at the ground takeoff. It's set to 10. Let's just set it to 3. And if we go over to the log on the Emerald, like so, it can find the player. So it initiates the flying mode again and then goes back to its default flying state, which was previously set to circle. This with the base layer settings here. You'll see that in the takeoff, it says base layer pre-takeoff. So these states it created, or these layers it created here, it says it looks at the initial base layer here. So it needs to have base layer pre-takeoff. So remember these, if you for any reason change any of the name convention, you have to make sure that these is equally as these ones in here. So this is the base layer. Now if we go in and disable the Emerald, now we do the same with the Malbers. So go in here, go to the top, set them up as enemy profile again. This time use current selection again. If it has a head transform inside the hierarchy, it will auto connect it in here. So set up FlyingAgent, set up ground AI behavior. We'll take Animal Controller, put it here. The nav mesh in Malbers, it's under the AI here. So put that in like so. and also set that to circle, and it will create a circle again under the Flying Agent system under helpers. Right now we have the Emerald we created before, and now because we created with this AI, it also created ones called Malbers Onga here, and it uses that one over there. So if we expand that and take Malbers and just take it up here and go back to Malber, now we have it up there, and we want to expand it, so keep it on circle. You know the drill now. Circle flight, expand the radius, circle speed, maybe set it to 12. Fly height, yeah, we can keep it up there for now. So if you look at the takeoff, everything is still set as baseline here, but this one uses states. We go the same drill again. We installed the Blaze integration before, AI target setup. Before it was Emerald, now it's Malbers, so click on the Malbers, use the Malbers character, set up refresh Malbers FlyingAgent target, put that in, and it's going to create this bridge and the health agent. So now these are linked and synced up to the stats, which is the health on Malbers. And if we go down to the animator, we're not going to use generic this time, we're going to use the Malbers. So put this on, use current selection as Malbers character, auto find the animator, and auto set up Malbers template here. And if we open up the fly controller and just look at these states here, you should see already now it has states put in, right? So create just as before, created these default states here for you, and you need to put in the animations. I'm gonna add in all the same animations again, so I don't want to bore you with that. It's gonna be exactly the same animations, but what I will do again here is landing, transition, just as we did before, down to this one, idle, states, and then idle combat. Because when we know when it lands because it detects the player wants to go into combat mode. And just as before, going to make sure that you set up your obstacle layers and also your air diff. I'm going to set that to ground. And fall speed, let's just set that to 8. Raise start height, maybe 1. Death duration 2. Destroy after 5 if we kill it. So right now, let's see how it works. Now before we test this, look at the stats. It's set to 100. Look at the health. It's set to 50. So if we say 200 here and go down and look at the fly health, it's default 100. If we play, it's set to 200 as well. And the FlyAgent is the one that will take damage when you shoot at it while it's airborne, and then when it lands and the ground behavior takes over, it's gonna sync up with whatever you had in there. So let's try to shoot at it. If you hit it, then it's gonna detect you and fly towards you. Now let's see if we can just kill it while it's in the air. It transitions into the falling mode, and it's gonna hit the floor and die. Now, cool thing here, we also added, if you look in on the fly control here, go down to the air diff. Look at these prefabs. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm using the Epic Tune Effects. So if we go in here and take environment, and then take dust, and use this one, pool soft, put it in here. It finds me, put on an icon, shoot it, and let's see when it's gonna hit the floor. Look, there the dust effect came. Pretty cool. Okay, now let's try to actually shoot at it again, but this time let it land and see how the Malbers ground behavior animal controller will take over, just as we did with Emerald. It's coming down, landing, and it's chasing me already. And it's Malbers Animal Controller that's taking over, and it's firing fireballs at me. That was the easy and fast way to set up an enemy flying agent. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Again, everything is inside the documentation. Just keep in mind that this FlyAgent controller is where you do most of your things right here. FlyingAgent controller. There's many customizable things here. For example, what you saw before with the detection visual, it was these prefabs here. I've already here comes with the assets. If you go into the asset, you can see FlyingAgent asset. There's a lot of resources in here. There's also some prefabs, audio, and such. But here you can set the height. You can even put warning sound in. You can put some text in saying player detected. It already comes with some of these ones, also in the resource folder, so you want to see how that looks. But you have all the things here, and also line of sight. But the FlyingAgent controller is where you're gonna do most of the heavy lifting. You have all your different options in here. Orbit player, when it's orbiting player, this is very useful for when it's a companion, for how high should it be compared to the player. And then you have the search scan here, air mode, rejoin, blending types as well, so you have a lot of blending options. Now, instead of when we shoot it and it just lands, we want actually to also introduce what we didn't have in the previous version, is the attack module. So right now, if we go up again, follow the path, we go up to attack module, this one. And while you have your Malbers selected here, set up air combat module. When you click that, it's going to add this FlyingAgent air combat controller. And again, it comes with tons of options in here. Everything from speed to target to cooldown to attack slots. To how many times you shoot at it before it lands. Everything is in here. So if you click on the valid air combat module, you can go down and see what is missing. It says combat target layer. It's set to everything. This is allowed, but tag matching will still be used. Okay, so we have that one set up. Now just follow the next step. Go to set up air attack shell. Click on that. Validate air attack shell just to see what it says. It says enable air attack default attack has visual mode attached. Yes, that's okay with us right now. And then we need the last step here is the setup air attack animator. When you click on that, it's gonna add an air attack state here, and it's already connected to the fly, like this. So what you need in here is the same thing as you did with these animation state. Just put in your attack. Now, if I go to the Unker animations here, there is one attack here. This one. So I feel while it's in the air and it stands up, and then it will spit up some fireballs. So this is what I want to use. So just put that in here. So now it has an air attack here. And then if we go in now, right now it's already looking at the player, because remember the profile, we set it up as an enemy. So it's already looking at the player. And if we go down here, you have one default air attack set up already. And it looks at a fire point. So here you can tweaks compared to what you need. So go into your Malbers, go into your dragon. And what we want to do is take the fire point here, and we want to connect that to the head here. So just take the fire point and make it a child of the head, and then move it up to approximately so it lines up with its head, something roughly like this. Okay, and now you can swirl this up again. Auto find target radius. Again, we create a lot of gizmos. The red one here is the gizmo. If you set up the target radius, you can do it like so. Combat notification. This is really good if you have if this is your companion, then you use a command UI panel. We're not going to use that for this one. Target revalidations, just leave these on. Again, these settings are explained in the documentation inside the default air attack slots. Right now we have one, and this one is just called the default air attack enabled. Fire point. The fire point we just adjusted. And for the attack range, let's just bump that up, put it to 70. Cooldown, if we want to shoot faster, lower this value. Fire delay. And here you can use time fire delay or animation event. If you click on enable the animation event, it's going to pop up with this tick where it says you need to make the animation event and call it air attack. And this, even though that both of them are selected or enabled the checkboxes, it will still, the animation event will still have highest priority. So let's try it without and just say time fire delay. If we lock this, go to the asset and just find a prefab for the shooting. Let's say this energy missile red attack visual, just put it in here. You can also put, if you impact, you hit something, you can also put sound in, but we're just gonna, for the sake of this tutorial, we're just gonna keep things as simple as possible. Visual mode, attack time effect, we set to projectile forward, and we set the projectile speed, let's bump that up to maybe 40, actually 35. Projectile lifetime, keep that here. Aim assist, let's just enable these so it has higher priority to actually hit the target, so hit the player. And also use predictive aim, draw aim debug, and then enable damage. And this is pretty cool. In the damage here, there's a damage workflow. If you twirl this down, you can choose Malbers, Blaze, Emerald, or auto attack, Invector, FPS Engine, or if you have in your own custom health system, you can use that in here. Right now, we want this to shoot at a Malbers, so we could click the Malbers. Well, you could also try the auto detect and damage amount. Let's say 15. Damage layer, it's animal, and the player tag is a player right now. Right now, we don't have any other enemy profiles for this enemy to hit at, so it only looks for the player. If you had any other, you could put them in here as well, but these will also be connected to the first profile setting you do in your main component agent controller in here, where you go into your target detection, and then you go into and say additional detection profile. If you click that open, then you can go in here and set up a profile name for, let's say, you can write companion and just say he's also an enemy. Target filter, put in the target tag, the layer, and then can trigger combat. Means when you find this the profile, it will also attack him. And if you want him to show on the minimap, again, if it was a companion, you have a minimap system, then you will also enable it down here. But then when you have all that set up, right now we don't use it, then you will just say sync combat and attack from detection profile. Then all of that will be synced into this module here, air combat. So right now we only have the player to think about, and we set the damage to 15. So let's see how that will add up. We go to Steve, look at his stat. He has 100 here. It already detected me, and it's shooting at me. And I'm taking hits, and you can see on the right side, it takes 15 damage every time. And it's just some crazy sci-fi sound right now. So Steve is dead, and the dragon flies back to his previous state. So this is pretty cool. If we do it again, and you look at, let's go back to the Malbers. This is really, really cool. If we go in here and look at these settings here, evasive. So right now, evasive is obstacle layer. You can set that to everything, but normally if you have like walls or anything, you can just put that in here as obstacles. But right now, these values, you can exaggerate them. So whenever you're shooting at it while in combat mode, it can be a really hard enemy to defeat. So let's see here. If I shoot at it, look how fast it just evades. But right now, it got killed because we had set it to a low health. It finds me, and I shoot at it. You see, it's making evasive moves. I'm having a hard time locating. And now it lands, and why it lands, I just pause it here. It's because if we go into its combat module again, go down here, then you can set whenever you want it to land. In this case, hits before forced landing, it was set to free. So if we just make that ridiculous high, let's just say 25, and hit memory reset. So all of these values, by the way, if you just hover your mouse over them, there's a little helper text. This means that it will look within 6 seconds of the hits. If you don't hit it within 6 seconds, it's going to reset it to be hit 25 times again. It's pretty obvious, but I just said that I just leave it at 6 because now we have a high force landing number in here. So it's detected us. Let's shoot at it. Where is it? And I'm dead. You see that? That's pretty cool. This is a hard enemy to kill when it does these evasive. And you can, of course, exaggerate it as much as you want by going into these, or smooth it out by using these strafe speed. Right now it's 28, which is a default value, which is really good. And then you have also radius, how much you should look at. And then you have swing degrees, strafe height. You have tons of controls in here. This is pretty cool, guys. And also line of sight. When it shoots, if you have anything blocking in front of it, it won't actually shoot you. It will use a raycast to look at if it can actually detect the player before it shoots at you. So that's pretty cool itself. Now if we look at its health one more time, go into the FlyingAgent health here, log it, and then let's just add a prefab in here. This blood explosion, and put it right here. And then if we shoot at it, you should see the blood prefab every time we hit it. Yeah, like so. So that's basically what the prefab section here and under the FlyAgent help does. And remember again, if you don't like this visual, the beacon and the log on prefab effect, you can go into the detection visual and then you can just either disable it here, remove it here, just delete these two slots here, and it won't come up. For example, I think the beacon icon was a little bit low, so for this one, the log on effect, I wanted a higher, so I put it at 3, but I don't want the beacon here, so just let's remove that. Still want to keep the warning sound in. Now the icon comes above me, which is pretty cool. Actually, Steve can fly by pressing F by default. I haven't tried to fly and see what it actually in the air, what it does. Okay, still chasing me. That's pretty cool. And if you go into the blending here, AI Tech blending animation, this is where you can go in if you feel like it's too snappy or you want a more smooth transition in your animations. Then you have these animation blending right in here. So from fly to attack and from attack to fly. You have also these fixed transition duration. Now let's test by setting up a companion AI. I set up this Emerald Unka dragon here, and basically it should just follow me when it detects me. So it just follows me around, does nothing. I cannot command, I cannot do anything with it. And if you go into the Emerald behaviors, target to follow, if you put in your player here, then it means you're already a companion to it. If we go back to FlyingAgent setup, so this time we want to change from enemy to companion, and we set the Emerald Unka, use current selection, click it in here, and set it up. It does the same thing as before, set up these different components to it. But right now, if you go into the main component, you can see that this time under the target detection, it has the companion target on, and its enemy, this time it's not player, but enemy, and it has this companion mode ticked off. So it won't, if it detects me, it won't attack me. And again, it created one for this AI as well under the flying helper objects. So once you set it up as a companion mode, you do exactly the same thing as before. Set up its animation. So don't look at the attack right now. We go to the generic animator module, find the Unka here, and then auto set up animator template, and it's up here, and do the exactly same drill as before. Set up these animations, and I remember always to make a transition back into this big mess of Emerald AI's animator window. This time, instead of the circle, let's change it to random, and this time scroll down the random flight. So the flight center here, we can just add in whatever transform you have, otherwise it will use around the play itself. So this time we use the flying center here, and then the radius, just bump that up, so within this area it will fly randomly. And let's also say maximum height a little bit upwards. Move speed, it can be 5. Let's test this one out. So it just randomly flies away, but keeps within the radius we have defined. So random flight, circle mode, and patrol mode is pretty self-explanatory, right? If you use patrol, then you just go down to the patrol flight, and then how many patrol points you have, you just like say 3, then you just add in from your patrol point like 1, 2, 3 here into these are just transform, and when it will follow that path. We'll see a showcase of that later on. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Right now we are using a dragon, so the next thing I want to show is a little bit more sci-fi. So if you have a drone or even a mech robot, something like that, that will be the more suitcase for this, but this is the next really awesome thing here. Let's go in and add in a command module here. Alright, now time for the companion AI's command UI. This is a completely new system added here, which is really cool and will help you a lot to visualize enemies, your area. You can do it for Recon, you can do it for Recon, tactical games, spot enemies, add them to the minimap with icons, report back, engage combat, look on the other side of the wall or other side of the mountain. There's many use cases here. Right now, remember, this asset is made up so you can either use creatures, drones, mechs, whatever you want. And right now we're still using the dragon, so bear in mind that this is, I know, a little exaggerated, that we are using a little sci-fi command UI for this. So again, go down to your option modules here, and you have your Emerald here. If you click on the setup UI, it's gonna add in this command controller right now, and just leave the default values and prefabs as they are. These are again using the beacon pillar and the search marker or the target icon when found and target. We're not going to add the Recon camera just yet. That's more suitable if we have another kind of type of AI, for example, a mech or drone or spaceship. Right now, this is a dragon, so we just want to command it. It also created under the FlyingAgent system, this command UI object here. And inside here, you can see to get your panel open, it uses the default toggle key, keypad 1. You can, of course, use whatever you want. And then you have tons of other options. You have tons of other options here you can tweak. Everything from the text to different prefabs. And you can also, of course, customize all the settings in here and change them out and swap them out with your own icons. So right now, let's test it. And we're using the maximized window right now. So the AI is, of course, flying up and using its normal pathway, right? Which is set to circle. If I press 1, you get your UI command up here. And if I press the land, you should see the AI come towards me and land towards me. And then it's going to follow me. The ground AI takes over. Now, if I removed my player far away, the ground AI will take over. Now, if I press 1 again, and let's say take off, and then it's going to go back to its original search path mode, like so. And if you press 1 and say follow player, it's going to come towards me and just orbit around the player itself. And this is where if we pause it and let's say play focused, this is where if you open up, twirl down the FlyingAgent controller and then go down to the orbit player, and let's just set the height, let's say to 5, radius maybe down to 6. Now it's much closer to me right there. Right, let's go in and maximize again. Now here comes also cool. If I press 1 again, if I click on this search, you'll get some other options here. I can search for an enemy, loot, custom tag. If you put a custom tag, you can just type in what it should search for. But if I say enemy, then it says, do you want to throw a marker or use the minimap? If I throw the marker, it's just going to throw a marker prefab there, and then it's going to search around a radius around that marker right there. Let's try it here as well. Search for enemy around this area, and it's going to come and look for it at that point. Okay. Press 1 again. If we search from the enemy and this time use minimap, then you can click wherever on the minimap you want. So right now, there's nothing from. You can see the dragon is doing a search pad over here, and I'm here with the white arrow. If I say search around this area, it's going to fly there. How cool is that? And of course, you can use the minimap and look at it while it flies there. Search, enemy, minimap, behind me. Then it's going to fly that direction. That's pretty cool. Now I added a capsule, a game object, and just gave it a tag of enemy and layer of enemy. Now check this out when we throw a marker. I'm just going to go closely to it, but let's check out to see what it does on the minimap. So search for enemy, throw marker right here. And let's get the map up as well, down here in the corner. So it's coming toward us. And when it finds it, it should detect it and show off the beacon, the icon, and also put an icon on the minimap. There it is. Look at this. So now you can say land near the target or continue orbit. If it's a land near target, in this case, if Emerald AI was set up to detect, and in this case, if the Emerald AI was set up to attack this enemy, it would just go directly for it and start to attacking it. Otherwise, it's still just set to follow me. So that's pretty cool. And why we couldn't attack it, it's because, as you know, we didn't set up for this Emerald AI an attack. We only set up the command controller. So now I set up the attack module on our companion AI. If I press play now, because I have set up a high target radius, it should find it immediately. Okay, I set up our companion AI here with the attack module. So let's see, it should find the target radius is high, so it should detect it instantly and fly towards it and start the attacking, and also give you some visual feedback on the command UI module. That's pretty cool. Now, although it is a dragon, for the sake of tutorial, we'll try to set up with the Recon camera as well. So we have our dragon here again. Go down to the optional module. We set up the command UI, but now we also want the Recon camera. So add that in here, set it up, and let's validate it. See what it tells us. Everything, there's no yellow or red warnings. So what do we get here on our Emerald? We get a new Recon camera mount. So if we go over here and place it, so don't move the camera itself, but take the Recon camera mount and just move it a bit further from the dragon, and maybe also rotate it downwards like this. And it will also give you a Recon camera controller here, where you have some different options you can play with as well. Look at them. So if we go back to the game, I can show you what the Recon camera does. So it flies up, finds target, open up the camera and see from its view. And also it has combat active right now. So follow player, let's follow us. And while it's following us, put up the camera. So you can keep looking at what it does. So it added up this Recon camera. It also added the monitor menu here. So if you click on that, you can monitor current position, select point on map. You can also show the camera feed, not the big one, but a little camera feed down here. So if we say current position, it creates a little circle here, and then it looks at us. If I go a little bit further ahead here, let's say, monitor, select point on map, then say maybe over here, it's gonna fly to that position, and you can follow it on the Recon cam if you want. You can see where it is. And the cool thing is, every time it finds a new target, it saves the coordinates over here along with its name. So in this case, it remembered the target grid with the coordinate system and the enemy. And this is actually clickable. If you click on here, it becomes green. Then your flying AI will actually move towards that point. So now it goes back to that enemy. And when it finds a target, it zooms in and locks on that target and shows you some visuals. So that's pretty cool. So monitor, select point on map. Let's try over here. Then you should see it flies again. That's the basic usage of the command UI. It's pretty straightforward. You can take off or land near you. You can search for any specific target or even a custom tag here. You can have it resume flight, use the monitor, follow player, the minimap, and of course the Recon camera here. So this is a pretty cool system. Now let's look at some of these showcases here. I have this AI avoidance. So if we look at that first, as you see, we have two AIs here. And this blue path here shows the patrol point. So they're set up to patrolling between 2 points, which is indicated by this blue line here. If you click on just one of them, you can see what that path is, and the same with this one. In here, you can see that the separation controller, the separation radius, shows you exactly which line that is, and the strength, how much it will try to avoid. So if you play this, they should fly towards each other right now, and they should try to avoid each other one way or the other. So it drives on the other side, and then it flies on the other side, and then it tries to go back again to its patrol point. So again, this is what the FlyingAgent separation controller, you can play with that. Same thing goes on the next one, AI obstacles. So these ones here, these walls here has been set up as obstacle layers, and if you click on your AI, you will show its path. It has 3 points here, 1, 2, 3, and you can see that by going into the actual AI itself on the agent controller, and then it's set to patrol. If you go down to patrol flight, you can see it has these 3 different transform points. So let's see how it will avoid those during its flight path. So here flies under, it feels it bumps in, and then it goes a little bit around, and then up, down, and its 3rd point is over here. So let's see how it's gonna come to that point. It flies up and down. Pretty cool. A simple avoiding system still being built on. That was the obstacle. Now let's look at the hitboxes. Okay, so if you click on your Emerald Unka here and twirl that down, you will see, if we go down to its hand, so spine, so on its hand here, I added this hitbox here. and it's because it has an animation where it comes over and attacks me with its claw. And this is where some of these helper components inside the asset helps a lot. Inside the resources, you have hitboxes. There's even a readme file in here. It says how to set it up. So basically you're going into your animation event, and then you just call this hitbox on whenever you want it to hit at that, whenever you want to enable and hit it. And the same thing, there's a hitbox off here. Everything is explained in this documentation. But basically, you put on this flying animation box here, this component, you add that to your Emerald AI here, and this here, Flying Agent Animation Hitbox. Then the Hitbox Collider, you add that here. The owner is the Emerald AI itself, put that here. Then it already detects this. Detects the Emerald AI. Then damage here, how much amount do you want to damage? I set it to 50. And then damage workflow, it's gonna hit a Malber player. So right now it could be Malber, but you could also set it to auto detect. The damage layer, animal, use required tag, yes please, we set it to player. Let's test this out. It hit me. Let's remove the visual here, and if we go to Steve and open his stats, he lost 50. One more and he's dead. He's lying there in foster position. Just an easy way to help you guys with setting up some of these annoying stuff. Now to show off the flight VFX. So this is Falco. This is the tool's main mascot here. You can actually put up his helmet here, and do you know who it is? It's a modified version of Steve. Alright? Okay, so here basically what we want to test is the flight VFX. So the flight VFX work like this. You have your main character selected, then in your Flying Agent setup, you would go into your optional module, and then you will click on your add fly VFX controller. And what that would do, it would add this one here, flight VFX controller. And here you have different options. You can add prefabs for the pre-takeoff, for the takeoff, for the hover and such. There's already one default enabled for you, and it's under the flying loop slots. So if you click on this, you can see it's gonna add a VFX point. This is the main point of where your burst particle will come from. So if you click on this, it's gonna come out of this source here, and you can of course move it and drag it and adjust it as you want. But this is where your effects will drive from. And then this is the particle prefab itself. You can add your own prefab here, and of course rotate them, play them to loop and such. If I disable this, let's see how this actually works. Right now I'm not commanding him, so he's just walking around. And this is the cool thing with this component. You have these test buttons down here. So right now we put a slot inside the flying loop. So start flying loop, you can just add that in here, and then you can see how it would look like if he was flying around, and then just stop flying VFX. The same thing if you added prefabs into the other slots here, you'll also be able to test them here. So that's pretty cool. Now let's look at the health system. This is pretty cool itself. Again, totally optional depending on your game. Down here you have this low flea health pickup, and when you have this, it comes in order how to set it up. So right now, first add in your Flying Agent here, which in this case is our Falco. So first you do is you add in up in your first slot, flying character root, add in your Falco health, your AI, the flying AI. Then you go down, it's already set up here, add low flea health controller. So click on that, and that would add this component, Flying Agent low health flea component. And right now, remember, if it doesn't work, sometimes maybe this could be disabled, but it should be on by default. Just make sure that enable low health flea is on. Then this one I disabled. This is also on by default, but I don't like to use a percentage of my full value. Instead of I want to use the direct value. So instead of using this percentage, it's going to look at this value. If I'm below 10, if I'm 10 or below 10, it's going to go and look for health. And it's going to look for these tags here, health Falco, and the layer. Here's the search radius. I just made it big. Then go down here, the health pickup prefab. So again, the assets come up. You can use your own prefabs. I just use one here. Go into health pickup, and it's this one here. Add that up. Assign default health pickup and spawn area. We want it to be around the Flying Agent start position, so around him. We want a spawn rate of 40, and our ground here is called ground. So just add in the ground. So when you click on the create initial health pickup, it creates 3 and have them on the scene. Then we also want our spawner. Click on that. It's gonna add on this spawner here. And here's where you can set the desired count. So let's just say I want maximum of 5 in the scene. And here you can click on how often it should look at it. For the sake of this tutorial, let's just do a quick one, say every 5 seconds here. And spawn area around FlyingAgent start position. Look at the ground. That's cool. Enable runtime health pickup spawner. It's on. Here you can click on find health pickup in scene. So right now there's 3 in the scene, which are these 3 prefabs. Just validate if you're unsure if you have the right tags and layers. No warnings. That means you have the tags. Alright. And if we go in now and just say these 2 here and delete them and click play. Right now he's flying and you can see he's circling around, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're here. Now, if we go into the FlyingAgent here and just set his health low, so current health, let's just set it 5. Look at that. Then he flies towards the nearest one, refill again, and he gets up to maximum. That's how the spawner system and how the health system works. Pretty straightforward. Also in the documentation. Now also, for the custom damage, you might have your own damage system, how you want to actually deal the damage. So in this case, custom damage helper, there's a readme here how you can go in and look at how you need to set up to be able to actually hit a FlyingAgent. It takes in the damage receiver here, FlyingAgent damage receiver. It's pretty straightforward how to set it up. In this case, we just set up again, it comes with a simple FlyingAgent simple health script. This one, I just set it to 100. You add that to desired target, the one you want to deal damage to. And then, of course, inside that component, you can go in and see how it takes the damage. But it has to use the FlyingAgent damage receiver. And then you can, of course, do your own take damage methods. Okay? And then for your AI that's going to deal damage to this custom health, it's important then under its combat module that this time it should be set to custom health system. Not any of these. It's not auto detect. It doesn't know which system you're using to deal damage or your health system. So in this case, keep it on custom health system. And if we play now, and it takes damage. It takes 10 every time it hits it, right? Pretty straightforward. So that's how to set up the custom. Guys, now we come to one of my favorite parts, which is the search items and mark them on the minimap. And you can also use it along with the Recon system. On your FlyingAgent, go again into your FlyingAgent main controller. And under the target detection, you will see I have these 4 items here. It's just 4 cubes on the scene. And I've labeled them as a coin, bullet, toxic, and weapon. And up here, you can see that also they have all of them have the layer of item. You can give it whatever layer you want. And then I just named them different item names, item, coin, bullet, and such. So inside your controller, under the target detection, under the additional detection profiles, you open that and then you simply go in and add these different items you want you want it to be able to detect. So the first one, the coin, you give it a name. The profile type, you can give it whatever you want. If it's an enemy, you can put it there, but it won't attack it until you also check this one called can trigger combat. As long as this box is not enabled, that means it cannot attack it. Then you have, of course, make sure your target tag is item coin, and then the layer is item, in my case. And I wanted also to enable the trigger search found, and also to give it a visual feedback on the UI system on the panel here. Then do you want to see it on the minimap? Check this. And then of course you have your sprites and icons and the size of them. So those are the values you have here. The ammo is a big size. Let's also just narrow it down to 30. So all of these I have here. The 4 ones, coin, ammo, toxic, and weapon. These are all labeled as cannot attack combat. If you have something that you want to be able to attack combat, then there are 2 things you need to do. First thing is of course to check this box, can trigger combat, and then down here, sync combat plus attack from detection profile. When you do that, then it's going to send the information from this agent control module onto the attack module, the combat module, this one. Then it's going to go in and say, okay, capsule enemy, This one is under the additional combat target profile, capsule enemy, which we also have in our main controller here. If you notice the last one, this one, capsule enemy, and I have right now disabled him, but we can see how it works afterwards. So let's just try the scene. So as you see, I have 4 cubes in the scene. Let's bring up the control panel. So 4 cubes. The first one it detects. Open up the little video feed cam here. Shows here what is detected. And I'm just going to say continue monitoring. And you have your coordinate system here in the left, where it says what it found, the name of it, and also the coordinate system. And these are clickable. So if you click on them, it's going to become green and it goes there. So continue monitoring. Let's also bring up the minimap. Continue. As it discovers things, the icon becomes visible on the minimap. So as long as it comes in, and the cool thing with the Recon system, look, it also goes in and lock on the target, the camera system. Continue, like so. Now, let's say that I wanted to go to this one. Then you just click on this. It's gonna fly to that coordinate system. The same thing with the top one. Then it goes back again. So that's pretty cool. And again, look at the Recon system. Whatever you click at, it will go to that coordinate system and lock on that target. So now it flies to the toxic box, this one, and locks on that. All right. Now, if we just pause it here and enable this capsule enemy, like so. So where is the capsule enemy? He's over here. So let's say that I want him to get over here. So let's say monitor, then say select on minimap, approximate in front of me. Monitoring selected points. He's gonna come, fly towards this destination. Let's bring up the Recon. Let's see when he can see the enemy. There, he found him. And then you can say attack target. And you can follow on the Recon screen. This is also pretty cool. And on the minimap, okay, that was destroyed, but otherwise it gets the enemy skull icon on the enemies. So that's pretty cool use cases. Now, while we are here on the module here, I also promised to show you about, let's take a quick look of what the follow player catch-ups. So you have a distance here for how far from the distance from the player it will be before it starts to fly after him. Then what the stop distance is. So these are just the values you have for those. You have the speed here. It's a high speed right now. And then you have the catch-up duration. And the cool thing here, you also have these states here, follow-up, catch, animation. So these are also put up when you go into your FlyingAgent setup. And then under animator utilities, you have this follow player catch animator. You make sure that your FlyingAgent is selected. And then you click on setup, follow, catch-up animator. When you do that, it's going to add these 3 states here by itself. And these states here are called these ones: catch up, charge clip, catch up, super speed clip, catch up, brake. So just before when it hits the 60 meters distance, then the first animation will be the catch up charge clip. And then while it flies super speed, this will be an animation you put in here. And then of course, when it brakes, it will be in this one. And then you have there also some animation clips. Oh, sorry. Then you have some prefabs, VFX effects you can put in here. For example, dust effect or sparks or whatever you want, whatever you can imagine, you can just put up here. And also a sound clip here. If we take a quick look, if I fly up right now and I say follow player and I fly away from him, when I hit the 60 meter distance, look at the FlyingAgent. He starts there. He makes the burst, he flies super speed, and then he brakes before he comes up to me. So that's pretty cool. That's how you can play with those. I fly up, he still follows me. So in case of you're very far away and you hit that, he should be catching up, like so. And he still are taking all the obstacles into account as well. So all of these pillars, I made them as obstacles. As you see, flying smoothly between them. So that's pretty cool. The next thing I want to show you is the AI versus AI. So here they're doing air combat. So this is also pretty cool. And remember, it has these evasive modes on for both of them. So right now we have 2 purple enemies against this green dragon. Again, you can play with the cooldown, but they're really gonna go all over the place here. Now the second one joins in, detected it. So that's pretty cool. And of course, inside the combat module is where you can set all of these different settings. Now this asset is all about making life easy for you, right? So remember, it's highly integrated with the Emerald AI and Blaze AI, FPS Engine, Malbers, and Invector. Once you have an Emerald AI set up to detect you, remember, he can detect you because of the Emerald Target Bridge, which comes with Emerald AI. But still, you cannot deal any damage to it. So he can detect you, he can work towards you. Yeah, but nothing happens here. And this is where this asset again comes to its play. So what you do here, this is where exactly the integration comes into play. Player damage workflows. Now, are you working in an Invector project, FPS Engine, or Malbers? So we are on a Malbers project. And in here, it already found out the M projectile. Otherwise, you can just click on this auto find. And then we're gonna patch it. It's gonna patch it, and that means it's already set up to deal damage to Blaze and Emerald. Same way, if you were in a Invector project or FPS Engine, you will use these workflows here. It would find the hit detection system, and in Invector, it will also find the V projectile control, which is the shooting script component, and it can also find the explosive if you want to use grenades. But we're using Malbers right now, and we just patched the component. Now, if we play again. Alright, you emerald sucker. It takes damage perfectly. The last thing I want to show you, and sorry guy, I know this has been a lengthy tutorial, but there's so much more. I really encourage you to look at the readmes. But again, I hope you go through this video if you need anything. I just wanted to make sure to cover as much as possible. The last thing I'm going to show you is also this. If you go into your FlyingAgent, let's say you have your enemy airplane, a drone or mech, whatever, it detects a target, but it wants also to get in reinforcement, then it can get help from other AIs. So in this case, what we want is going to the AI target setup receivers, and this is an emerald, so click on the emerald AI target, and then while you have him here, use that selection, and then add this one, add emerald player spotted receiver, add that to him. It's gonna add it right here, and because we have that, then let's just duplicate him, put the other one over here, go back to the game. So what this does is, when you look on the FlyingAgent controller, this hit player spotted trigger, this one, if you go to it, to the dragon, is this one, hit player spotted trigger. So this red square here, whenever your target, in this case us, the player, comes within this range here, then it will broadcast a signal to the other enemies and call in them to move towards the player's position. So that's pretty cool. In this case, now we have 3 AIs that should come towards this position here. And if we can do like this, so you can see the players, the enemies. Go back to these. Okay, so these are standing ready. Now split this up in 3 windows so you can see when it detects me and I come within range of the red trigger collider, then it will send out the receiver to these 3 AIs and they will come toward the position of the player. Now look at this. See that? And if we go up here, remember it has the prediction on, so it almost hits me every time. And I'm dead. That's all I have for you today, guys. Sorry for apologize again for this being a lengthy tutorial, but it will be useful for you once you're stuck and need to go back and look at certain things. Otherwise, just look in the README documentation. I really used a lot of time on this asset. I'm really proud of it. And I thank you again. I humbly thank you for all your support and encouragement. Many of you have emailed me and also sent donations. I really appreciate it. I do hope when I put this on the asset store for the next version that you will support me. If not, even a small donation, buy me a coffee from the webpage will definitely go a long way. Otherwise, remember, this version here is still free. It can do a lot. It's packed with many features I haven't shown you yet, but I'll keep updating. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoy. I hope you will enjoy this asset as much as I did creating it. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate each and one of you. Have a nice summer. Bye.